Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here today with Racco. And it's time to continue the top 100 list. We're going into the second half now, the better half, basically 50 and up. And we're going to start here with 50 to 41. And in this segment, there's 3 new games, so that is exciting. 3 new games that hasn't been on the list before. And there's also one here at number 50 that dropped down from 26 actually down to 50. And I'll tell you why in just a few seconds here. Let's get started with my number 50. And if you like this video, if you like this kind of videos, remember to press the like button as well and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now let's go to number 50. Yeah, so at number 50 we have Caverna, the Cave Farmers from Rosenberg. This has been a game that has been going up and down a little bit on my list, these last years that I've done these lists, but it has dropped down from 26 to 50. One part is, of course, that there's a bunch of new games coming in that are exciting and so on. But also, I got a little bit tired of it. At one point, I played this a lot with friends, but these days I rather just play it once in a while. I do like it a lot. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be on my top 50 here. But still, it's I think the one thing that makes this, because there's always this, is Caverna better, is Agricola better? Now I can, spoiler, Agricola is coming later on, it's better in my opinion. Because there's always this in Caverna, this notion of having all the buildings, all the rooms, or dwellings as they're called, out there at the start of the game. And then you got to figure out your strategy. And everybody can grab those, so someone could grab that before you do. And I think that's interaction is something I don't really like. Because these kinds of games, I want to be able to, plan ahead, far ahead, have my own thing going. And then I don't want anyone to be able to mess with that too much. Now, in Agricola, as well as in Caverna, of course, someone can take the worker placement spot that I plan to do. But that's not a big issue, because I can sort of find another way. I might get, a worse position. I get 3 wood instead of 4 or 5 or whatever, but I still can do something decent with my worker. One thing that has really made the game better, in my opinion, is the expansion that came out, last year. So it's like, since I did my last top 100 list, the expansion came out, and it adds sort of a, like, everyone has a character. It's called the Forgotten Folk. So there's like different kinds of forgotten folks, like these kind of dwarves and elves and whatnot, goblins and so on, and they all have special abilities. And I think some of them I don't really like, because they steer you too much. So sort of they tell you that, well, you basically just have to build in your cave, or you basically just have to build out on the farmland. But some of them are really cool, and I really enjoy the whole idea of everybody having a asymmetrical thing you're doing, an asymmetrical game. So that's also interesting in this game. It also makes it so that people are not chasing after the same thing, which kind of open up a little bit the board, the placement spots, because I'm doing my thing, which is something I like. I like multiplayer solitaire, sort of, as you might know, or at least in that direction. I do like the interaction of blocking each other on the worker placement spots, but that's enough interaction for me. But anyway, Caverna is a cool game, and it is my number 50. At 49, I put a game called Gizmos. Gizmos is a new on the list, and it's new since, it came out. I think it came out this year. No, it came out last year, 2018, but it was like after I made the list. So yeah, this is a really cool little, this is an engine building game, and that's what it is. It's an engine build. You're actually building a real engine, sort of. So you draft these cards, which I do like. You draft these cards from the open market here. You can buy them out here from the market rows. And you put them out into your little engine, and that makes it so that you get a bunch of combo wombo stuff, which is something I really like in games. And in this game, it's all about that, which means, and that's why it's up here on my top list so high, because it's so much fun, and it's really quick. You play it in like 40 minutes, but you still get to do so much things. You have this, and another thing I like in games, and which is present here, is sort of gizmos, or cool things, cool components. Here you have this little tower with all those marbles in them, like plastic marbles in different colors. And that's your currency. That's what you get, that the resources you get in order to be able to pay to buy these cards and put them in your tableau like this. As you can see here, you have these different actions. So you can do a file action, you can pick, you can build. And as you pick, you get them from this little tower over here, or up there actually, where you're picking these either just blindly picking a marble, or you pick them from the little row there, and when you do, another one will slide out, so you know what's coming and what are available for you for the next time, or for your opponents. So much fun. There's so much going on in this game, even though it's a small game, but when you start, after a while, when you play it, you start getting all these combos. So I might build a red, I don't know what it's called, it's not called buildings, but like a red module. And when I do that, that triggers me to do a pick of a marble. And when I pick a marble, if I pick like a yellow one, well, that might trigger me to get to pick another one, and so on. So you get all these combo chains, which is really, really fun. Can really recommend Gizmos. And next up, we have Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders is a sort of, by now, it's sort of a classic game. It's one of those games that are Gateway or Gateway Plus, I would say, depending on which expansion you put in. But a lot of people have played it. A lot of people have played Seven Wonders. Even, you know, non-gamers really, you know, might have tried it out at some point. And it's really good for that Gateway Plus style. I wouldn't call it a true Gateway, because there is a bit of complication in this game with all those symbols, the icons. It's not that easy to get into the first time you play. But once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. And one of the really beautiful things about this game is it's called Seven Wonders, right? And you can be 7 players and you play simultaneously, basically. So it's still a quick game. Everybody's playing, having fun, and the most, you know, focus you have is on yourself and your neighbors to the left and to the right, which is a really smart system. So you're not interacting with the whole board, unless you're playing with the latest expansion that introduced that. But most of the time, right now in this video, you see here, I'm playing with just the leaders expansion, and I have the play mat there, which doesn't come with the game either. But with the leaders, you have a little bit of extra complexity added. Not too much. You play 1 leader each and sort of era, which is 3 eras. And this is, of course, a drafting game. You draft those cards. And then to play the cards, you need to pay resources. But those resources, you don't have to have them yourself all the time. You can buy them from your neighbors as well. But then you have to give money to your neighbors, which, you know, helps them out. So it's a fun bit of interaction in there. And it's a really fun card drafting game where you can go for different strategies. You can try different things out as you play and really enjoy it. Seven Wonders. And next up, we have another new game called Quacks of Quedlinburg. This is a really fun push your luck game, really cute components, as you can see here. And what you do is you have this pot basically in front of you, and you're this crazy alchemist trying to make potions. So you stir your pot, basically, you put out these ingredients into it, you draw from a bag. And then if you draw too many of the white ones of the certain kind, then your pot will explode. And you don't want to do that, so you got to be careful with how you sort of, when do you stop, when do you push your luck. In the beginning, it's not that bad, because if you fail, the only thing you lose sort of is either buying power, so you can buy new chits, as you can see up here, a bunch of them, so you can put new ones into your bag and make your bag better. So it's a bag builder, which I really enjoy. But you either lose the possibility to buy new ones or to get points, and in the beginning you don't get that many points anyway. So you know, you might want to push your luck a little bit more in the beginning, but at the end of the game it can be really exciting. And what I like to do in this game as well, what I enjoy to do, is that you can play this simultaneously, and the rulebook suggests that you do that, but then it says that on the last round everybody does this one at a time, sort of. And I must say that what I really enjoy to do in this game is to everybody grabs from the bag, holds it in their hand, and then reveals. So everybody takes one at a time. That way you can sort of see how your opponents are doing. Are they close to being busted, to explode? And that might affect your decision. Or am I going to push more or not? Because you can see, well, if this guy has more points than me, I probably need to push and get ahead of him. So that makes the game more fun, I think. So I can recommend that. And right here in the video, I'm playing it solo. I'm playing in the solo variant from Board Game Geek. This is not sort of in the game, but it works really nice. Really fun solo system as well. And yeah, Quacks of Quedlinburg is a really fun game. It's like you take the fun push your luck mechanism, and you combine that with another thing I really like, which is bag building. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Some simultaneous play, these components, I mean, they are so awesome. The actual pot, the cardboard piece there is so nice. And then you have these like books out here, and that's also a cool thing, because you have like the red ingredient in one game that means one certain thing, it has an effect on your gameplay, and in another game it means something else, because you can flip this book or take another red book, and that changes up what that ingredient means, and there's like sets of these. So it's so smart as well for a design perspective to sort of, you can use the same components but they mean different things in different games. So there's a lot of variability in this game as well. Love it. Quacks of Quedlinburg. And next up we have Enosh, which is a game that I haven't filmed, sadly. So I'm going to show you the Board Game Geek page here. But yeah, this is a area control game, and sort of dudes on a map fighting it out game, which is something I usually don't like, and I shouldn't like this, but I do it anyway for some reason. So you have these really beautiful map pieces out like this. You have your little guys out here, some defensible positions you can place and so on, and you can fight with your opponent, and you do all this by drafting cards. That probably there's the thing that I really enjoy. You draft these cards, just like in Blood Rage for that matter. And these cards are really big, nice, thick tarot cards. Really love them. And they do a big variety of things. So it's not just about a simple combat and just I play a card with number 5 and you play it with number 4 and I win. This is way more complicated than that, but in a good way. So these cards have both effects for combat, but also for other things like, scoring points, moving your troops around. Well, not scoring points, but scoring sort of control, because you're trying to get to having this like different kinds of ways to win. You can control a bunch of areas, you can control a bunch of these sacred grounds or whatever they call these castle acting thing, and so on. And so by doing that, and you can also control your opponents. If your opponent has like 3 units in a spot and you have 4, that means that you're in majority and you control those 3. So if you control a total of 6, I think it is, then you can win that way. But anyway, to win, you need to fulfill at least one of those conditions, and then you need to sort of call out to the other players and say, I'm going to win if you don't stop me, basically. And that's kind of cool, because you're claiming sort of the win. And then the other players have a chance to react and stop you. And at some point, there might be more than one player that has claimed that. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting interaction between the players. And there's some elements here that I don't really like in games. I usually say that I hate that. But like, this like, okay, so Draco is in the lead here. Well, then I have to tell the other players, everybody has to go against Draco. I don't like that when you sort of have to gang up on one player to stop them from winning. That's something I hate usually in games. But in this game, it works nicely, at least with my gaming group. I had a lot of fun with Enosh. And next up, we have a sort of classic on my list, Terra Mystica. Terra Mystica has, of course, dropped down a bit over the last 2 years since Gaia Project came out. So because Gaia Project is a better game, and it's coming higher on the list, obviously. But yeah, Terra Mystica is a cool game. I mean, this is where sort of this is one of those games I really fell in love with when I played it first time. And I haven't played it in a while, and there's a new expansion that came out at Essen Spiel, actually. So haven't tried it. I didn't get a copy on Spiel. So we'll see if I pick up a copy later on, perhaps. And the problem is to find people to play it with, really. Because I have friends that like it, but there's so many games, so it's hard to just, even if I get the expansion, we still have a bunch of other games that we want to play as well. So, yeah, but Terra Mystica has a really nice asymmetrical feel. I really like that. All these different, just like in Gaia Project, of course, but all these different factions you have. So every time you play, it's going to be really different how you play and how you put up your strategy. There's very little luck involved in this game. And very low interaction, so it's really up to you to make the best out of it. But there's some things that I really enjoy about it. It's this whole thing that we can see here on the board, where you have the power rotation and the power interaction as well, so you get power recharged when your opponents build next to you. I really enjoy that, and I really enjoy this whole, I place a building out and then I have an income and that generates resources for me. So yeah, there's so much good stuff going on in this game. Really enjoy it. And here we have the Dragon Lords. I think Drac was playing those. So go check it out if you haven't. All the videos, by the way, are of course down there in the description with links to my videos for them. So Terra Mystica, awesome game. Now let's head to the next one. And this next one is, this is a bit weird because this is a playthrough on my mobile phone. So this is an Android playthrough of Gaussian Camber, or That's Pretty Clever as it's called in English. But it's called Gaussian Camber on the app as well. I played this almost entirely on the app. I played a little bit live as well, but I haven't made a video of the physical version. And in a way it's a bit weird, but it is a board game basically. It's a roll and write. It's just that it's so much easier to play it solo on the app, so that's why I do that. But I do like this multiplayer, and then you have to play it in the physical form. So in this game, you roll the dice, different colors and different numbers, and you're trying to fit these numbers and columns into, because you're basically drafting the dice by yourself, or sort of, and then you use them for these different places that you can write on, and do an X on or fill in the number to score a high score. What's really fun about it is that you have these like combo wombo stuff, so that when you reach a certain spot on one of these tracks, then that triggers that you can move or like mark a spot on another track, which in turn might lead to you getting a third action on the same die. So there's a lot of combos here, and you can set them up. You can find these change of combos that just makes it so that you keep going and going, and it's so much fun. I played this, I think, 2,000 times on my phone. It takes like 5 minutes maybe every game. But of course it takes maybe 30 minutes if you play with some friends and you have the physical version, which I recommend as well. So Gaussian Camber, or That's Pretty Clever, that's up here on the list, and I really enjoy it. I think this is my favorite roll and write game. So much fun. And then we go to a big board game. This is Near and Far. Near and Far from Ryan Lockett. And this is a adventure game. In this one you're going to have it's really cool. It's like fantasy, but it's a whole world of its own. It's not generic really. It's like a fantasy world, a fantasy theme that has its own story and all that. And it comes back in other games as well. I think it comes from above and below, and yeah, really cool stuff. In this one you have your little guy, your little cardboard standee, and you have your board, and you're gathering you're recruiting to your party, so you will have different kinds of followers in your party. And then you can get some stuff and get ready, get potion stuff in the city. And when you're ready, you go out adventuring on this map. And the map is actually, like you can see here, it's a book. So you turn the page and then you go to the next map, basically. Not in the same game, but so you go around on this map. You're trying to gather coins and rubies. You're sort of building these little outposts, and you're going on adventures. You can go to the mine, as you can see here as well, where you can pick up these rubies and gold and so on. And honor as well. You go up like, do you have a bad or good standing? That affects which items you can play, if you're a bad guy or a good guy. And it's really cool because you also have these little story snippets. So when you meet something happens. It's like a Euro game basically, but then once in a while you run into some situation where you're going to read your opponent or one of your opponents pick up the book and read a little text to you, and then you have to choose. So you can, do you want to help this guy that you met, or do you want to rob him? And depending on what you choose, some things just have an effect right away. Some things have a lasting effect. So later on you might meet someone else, and then you have to check, okay, how did you do this or that? Do you have this item with you that you got earlier because of your choice? Well, then that may affect the second encounter you have. So that's really cool. I really enjoy that, and I like storytelling in a board game, especially like this one where it's sort of planning and strategy and all that, and then you have these sort of minor. It's not just about storytelling, it's a mix of it. So really enjoy Near and Far. I think it's really cool. Me and Martin played through most of the campaign and really enjoyed it. Had a really good time playing a 2-player, and I played it as well with more people. And you can play this as just a one-time thing where you have like randomized encounters coming, instead of sort of the story base that you do if you have the campaign game. So yeah, a lot of options how you play this. You pick up these items that improve you and so on, and so much fun. Near and Far. And then we're getting close to the end of this week's list. Here we have Tzolkin, the Mayan calendar. This is such a cool game. This is one of those games that are famous for, and for me also it's a big thing that it has a really cool gimmick. As you can see here, it has these wheels, these plastic wheels sort of integrated into the cardboard board. And I also painted them in the different colors that they should have, sort of, based on what they do. And then as you can see here, you're going to twist the wheel. So your workers, it's a worker placement game, you place out your little worker tokens, and then as you rotate the wheel, they get, they will get to better and better spots. And on your turn, you either place a worker or you bring home as many workers as you want. So you want to place them out there, you want the wheels to rotate, and then bring them back at the right time in order to do the certain action that they are pointing at that point. And you can upgrade your technologies here to get some benefits. You can climb this track to please the gods and get benefits from that, points and resources. You can build buildings, and yeah, this is so good. It's one of the heavier games that I like. This is quite heavy. There's a lot of thought process going into doing this correctly and doing it good, because you always have this time pressure on you. You know that the wheel is going to rotate twice basically, and then the whole game is over. Or like one full circle, and then the game is over. So there's a lot of planning going into this, and you can really screw yourself up if you do it bad in the beginning, because you always need corn. Corn is like the main currency. You need to feed your workers with corn, and you need corn to do actions and so on. So there's always this lack of corn, and then you of course have the resources as well. I really like how they made this game, the components and that, and the expansion, Tribes and Prophecies, really good expansion as well. I can really recommend that, where everybody get an asymmetrical tribe, so you have a special ability going on during the game, and you also have these prophecies, so it's like events coming up. You can see them, and you can plan for them ahead, and then you can react to them. Sort of like in Turmoil, actually, for Terraforming Mars. Really enjoy this for a lot of reasons. Can really recommend Tzolkin, the Mayan calendar. And at 41, last one for today for this episode is Pandemic Legacy Season 2. So cool. I really enjoy this. I love ripping up cards. I love opening boxes, finding new components, new rule stickers that you add, and all of a sudden you can do something else in the game. It's so cool. And this is my spoiler-free unboxing here, so don't worry, I'm not showing much at all. But as you can see, there's boxes here you're going to open up as you go, and it's a really cool story. I think it's very well written. The whole story behind what's happening and how it ties into the season 1 as well, without saying too much. And this is just, the starting board you see here. Play this with a few friends. We played it in just a few weeks, just sat down and a few times and had these long sessions, and we had so much fun with it. And it's so thematic and so well made. Yeah, I love it. It's like the mother of legacy games, right? For me, it's the best legacy game I played. I haven't played that many, but yeah. So Pandemic Legacy, can really recommend it. If you like Pandemic at all, if you like legacy games, check out Pandemic Legacy. If you haven't, start with season 1, work your way through it, and I can guarantee that you want to continue with season 2. And I also heard through the grapevine that we're going to get a season 3 next year, so I'm excited for that. I think that's going to be the last one as well. It's going to be a trilogy basically. So yeah, that was it for this week's top 100 episode. 10 more games talked about. There's 40 to go. 3 more episodes where I sit like this and talk about them. And then in the last episode, I'll be joined by friends, by Mats and Andreas, and we're going to sit down on a row, 3 guys talking about our top 10 games. That's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell symbol down there so you get notifications from YouTube when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening or morning whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye bye.
Do you want to keep this little dragon this happy all day long? Then subscribe to the channel.